All right, guys, we wanted to tell you that we're going to start a podcast for our channel. We're going to call it the After Action Roundtable.
There you go.
That's what we came up with the name of it. What we were thinking it's going to be is we have a lot of really cool conversations when we're on the range, and this is going to be the conversation after we get off the range. Yep. There will be one more person attending.
Yes.
Wendell's son is you want to you explain what he is?
Yeah, well, we're going to be introducing Ryan to the channel here soon. He's been a police officer for right at 15 years now. He's got SWAT training. He's a firearms instructor. He's also a cadre in Santa Fe. He's taught several classes up there, including constitutional law. He has a whole different perspective on some things as far as law enforcement and Constitution and what have you. And we're definitely going to be bringing him on the podcast because he's going to have a lot of interesting things. And by that, we're also planning some training style videos. Like if you're carrying concealed self-defense style shooting, things that you should be aware of. So there's a lot of really cool things coming down the pipe. So I think I think it ought to be.
It's going to be interesting. Cool. I like the idea of having him come on because one, he's very constitutional. When I talk to him, he's very constitutional in law enforcement.
Yeah.
The other thing is he has gone through. We as taxpayers, we spent thousands and thousands of dollars putting him through training.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's been SWAT level 1, SWAT level 2. He's also a breacher instructor. Not only that, but he's been involved in several shootings. So he's got a lot of
well, when he comes here, a lot
of good aspect to bring to the channel. So
yeah, well, when he comes here, he can tell all his stories. But the thing I liked is he's a DOT officer. DOT certified. He's a dog handler.
Yep.
He's a SWAT certified officer. He's, it's like when I first started driving truck, there was like every box you could check mark.
Yeah.
And I think he did that with law enforcement.
Pretty much. Yeah. In fact, one of his body cam footages is used as a training model from where he did he made a very large drug bust, and that has been used extensively in the law enforcement community for training. So he's done a lot of interesting things. So
he's going to come to the channel, but I would say the premise that we're looking for to do this podcast. One, I've never done a podcast, so I was kind of interested to figure out how to kind of put it together. I also, when we're at the range, we have some really, really interesting conversations. And I don't know how to set all of this up at the range. The lighting is horrible. It's either super, super bright or super, super dark or
you got wind howling, which has been the problem here lately. We've had some.
Well, we didn't go shooting the whole month of March.
Yeah, we have not. We went one time in March, and that was only for a couple hours before the wind picked up. So
yeah, that's why the problem we're having is coming up with footage to put together a video.
Yep. And we got some projects that we're going to be getting together here pretty soon. We have you want me to do the?
Yeah, go for it.
We've recently acquired a Savage 99.
That's my dad's rifle.
Yep. This is a chambered in .300 Savage. Well, I don't know if, there's been a lot of people out there that have done videos on Savage 99s. This one's in really good condition. This really was a design that was ahead of its time. The fact that it feeds from a rotary magazine underneath the action. with it, and it's a lever action, so you can use pointed bullets. Your Spitzer style bullets in it, as opposed to round nose that you got to run through a lever action that's got a tubular magazine. This particular rifle, some of the cool features on it. You have a cocking indicator, so when the rifle is cocked, you have an indicator that sticks up on the back of the receiver here, so you know that it is cocked. Also has a round counter on the left side here that will count from 0 up to 5, and right now it says 0, and that's because it's empty.
So it comes from a lower magazine.
Yeah, it is empty, and it is 300 Savage. Looked up the serial number on this one. This rifle was manufactured in 1945. So you figure 25 plus 55. 60.
It's 10. So my dad just turned 70, and he was born in 55. That gun was built 10 years before he was.
1945. This rifle is 80 years old.
Doesn't look it.
No, it's in really good shape. Rifling's in really good shape. The stock's in good shape. It's got a few nicks and things here and there, but not bad. I like the case-hardened lever on it. The safety is down here by the trigger. You push forward to put it on safe. You pull it back, take it off safe.
Well, then my dad gave it to me because 300 Savage is amazingly difficult to find.
Yes, and we've already got it short up. We manufactured some 300 Savage brass for this off of 308 once-fired brass. That brass is done. We'll be doing another short. We're going to show loading some of that stuff. We're going to load some 150s and some 168s, and we're going to be shooting it hopefully this next week, if the weather allows, and kind of get an idea what this will do. It's in remarkably good shape for being 80 years old. It's pretty nice. So that is one of the upcoming projects.
Well, originally when my dad gave it to us, he wanted us to put a mount of scope on it.
Yeah.
The problem is because it has, from what I understand, the loaded chamber indicator on here is kind of an obstacle.
We can work around that, but the problem is it's not drilled and tapped for scope mounts. They didn't start drilling and tapping them for scope mounts until somewhere around 65, I believe. 62, 65.
Yeah.
So 300 Savage, pretty cool rifle. Really, they were way ahead of their time with a rotary magazine for a lever action. They started manufacturing 1899. That's why it's the Savage 99 manufacturing stopped in 2003. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What did they only make? They made it in several different.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of different calibers out there. There's a lot of proprietary Savage chamberings for them. But during the 60s, they started changing them in 308, 243. Some of your more modern cartridge chamberings. This one will be in 300 Savage. 300 Savage is kind of the predecessor to the 308 Winchester. You give up about 100 feet per second with 300 Savage as opposed to 308. So,
well,
not a whole lot of difference there.
Now, my understanding, and okay, he's licking the table. Hey, bud. What is this? This is Duke.
Duke, yes.
Yeah. It's either have him in the studio with us or in the shop with us, or he's at the door scratching the whole time. So
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's Duke. I guess he's the mascot.
Yeah.
But my understanding is when I was looking up 300 Savage, is that when the government decided that the 30-06 was just a little too much, they wanted to go with an intermediate cartridge.
Right.
And 300 Savage is already out.
Yeah, they were looking at the 300 Savage, and then during that time period was when they developed the 308. So
yeah.
The 308 Winchester, which it could have gone either way, but
In the 308, the casing size is pretty much the same, isn't it?
Pretty close. The overall cartridge length on a Savage, you load to 2.6 inches, and on a 308, you're loaded out to basically 2.8. So there's about 0.2 of an inch difference in the brass length, and also in loaded rounds.
And then my understanding too, the reason they had a problem with the 308 is because when they came, with the 300 Savage, was that they came, the shoulder is a shallower shoulder.
It has a sharper shoulder on the 300 Savage, and it also has a shorter neck. And what really came down to is they didn't feel like the neck was long enough, and that was why they developed the 308 Winchester. So,
but they actually developed the 7.62 by 54 or 53 or is it 58?
52, or well, either way.
They came out with the NATO designated round first, and then
you have the NATO designation for 308, and then you got 308 Winchester. 7.62 by 51, I believe, is the NATO designation.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But the big difference is the NATO designation for 308 is much lower pressure than 308 Winchester. 308 Winchester is set with it's set for 62,000 psi for the pressure ceiling on it, where your 7.62 by 51, your NATO designated stuff is like 55,000 psi. So if you do have a rifle that's chambered for the NATO designation, don't put 308 Winchester in it. So, which is kind of odd because completely it's completely 180 degrees different than what it is for 223 and 5.56.
But
when you go to 223, you're looking at a 55,000 psi round. You go to 5.56 and you're looking at a 62,000 psi round. I mean,
it's hot, yeah.
Yeah, your 5.56 loading is much hotter than 223. So,
but I thought that the two rounds were interchangeable, except for because I fired the NATO designated stuff in my rifle.
Right, your rifle chambered in 5.56.
No, my Remington 700.
Remington's, you're talking about in your 308?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can shoot the NATO stuff all day long in there.
It's just not
it's lower pressure. I mean, it's a 150 grain bullet at 2,600 feet per second. Whereas when you boost it up to the pressure the 308 Winchester runs at, you're looking at 62,000 psi, 2,900 feet per second with that same 150 grain bullet. So, yeah, you can run the NATO stuff all day long in a 308 chamber.
It's just not going to perform.
No, it's much lower pressure round. So,
and did they do the? See, I had read too that the 308 was done. They lowered it because they had to make the other. They had the NATO countries when they went to the Lee. The Lee rifle and stuff.
Part of the reason for the lower pressure NATO round is, remember this is about the same time the M60 was introduced in the Army too. You know, you're a belt-fed automatic weapon. If you're running that higher pressure, you're really gonna, that machine gun's gonna take a beating. So it was lowered down, and
so they were trying to do the normal Army thing, one round to help them all.
Yeah, pretty much. So,
and then, we got the Savage that we're working on. We're trying to put together some cash so I can buy the reloading dies and the brass for with the Dragunov clone.
Yes. Cody has a Dragunov clone, and he's got the original optic for it.
Yeah, I borrowed that one from my. Please stop. He got the original optic. It's actually a Romanian PSL.
Yes.
Yeah, because you cannot import.
You can't import the Russian
Dragunov.
Yeah.
But it's for all intents and purposes the same rifle.
Yes. Probably a better build coming out of Romania than it'd be if it was Russian.
Oh, they build better stuff?
I think so. So.
But it basically looks like a really big ass AK.
And for the most part, it is. Except the case is about 3/10 of an inch longer. You're looking at probably about 15 grains more powder, a little more velocity, and it was designed to run a heavier bullet too. So.
Well, yeah, that bullet came out in was it 1891? Because it came out for the Mozzie Nagant. Or Nagant, or however they pronounce it.
Yeah.
The M91
Yeah.
came out with that round. So they fired it in the M91. And I have a Nagant rifle. We can bring that in too. We'll bring that for the next podcast. We'll bring the stuff that fires the Russian ammo in next time.
Yeah.
But the problem I had with the Nagant is that 7.62 by 54R. You can't reload it.
Well, the commercial stuff that you find is steel cased, Bernard primed. Can't reload that stuff.
Yeah.
But we can reload. We can build ammo for it. So,
which I was blown away that you can find the casings.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yep. I think we found 2 or 3 sources for it. So.
Yeah, and then it fires it's not a 7.62 bullet. It's like a.
It is a 311. .3115 technically, I think, is where there's a diameter on it.
So like a 303 round or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so that's a project we're working on. I've been invited to go to Rocky Mountain 3 gunning this year. So I'm trying to put together on a very shoestring budget to put together the rounds to go to Rocky Mountain 3 gun up in Raton, yeah.
Whittington Center.
Yeah, if you've ever had an opportunity to go to the Whittington, you don't want to miss it.
I've never been. I probably need to go.
Well, I mean, what I thought was funny is when I took my rifle, I bought my rifle in November of 23, and it sat in my gun safe. And then when I found out we were going to the Whittington, I didn't even know you at the time.
No.
When I found out I was going to the Whittington Center, I thought that there would be a guy up there who could teach me how to shoot a scope. So I took the rifle up there. I couldn't even hit the 200-yard mark with it. And then when you talk to the guys at the Whittington Center, and they have 1,000-meter range.
Right.
And that's 1,124 yards. And so I was like, man, and they have a buffalo on the side of the mountain. They call it the White Buffalo Challenge. Well, so we try to figure out how to zero this rifle. The scope was crap. I found that out when I met Wendell. I went to the range and he's like, that's crap. And then we actually, what was it, Tom?
Yep.
I went to the range without Wendell, and Tom was there.
Yep.
So I got this guy named Tom helped me get it on paper.
Yeah.
And then, but I was shooting off of my bipods on the rifle, and then what did you gave me your number the first time I met you at the range?
I think so.
I met him on a Wednesday just by a fluke. I went to the range and you were there.
Yeah.
And he was like watching me struggle, or.
Yeah. You were having a rough time. Yeah.
And both of us have the gift of gab.
Yeah. For the most part. Very much so.
So we're on the range, and Wendell comes over, and he's like, "What are you trying to do?"
Yeah. You had mixed case head brass.
Well, I had the Hornady stuff. Yeah. I had the 7.62 stuff from the NATO. I had like everything under the sky.
Yeah. Cheap scope bases. I think you had Weaver bases on there, and some cheap aluminum rings, and a Simmons scope. And none of that's really conducive to long range precision. So Yeah. It's been kind of a whole evolution on your rifle.
Well, so I finally decided that I stay at home now mostly with the kids to help them out. That's a different story for a different day. But he says he goes either Tuesday or Wednesday, and the day I had off was to go and you get up at like before the ass crack of dawn.
Oh yeah, I'm out there. I've usually got my target set up before the sun's starting to kind of peak up. About the time I'm ready to shoot. So, I mean, your best time for shooting is those first 2 or 3 hours, man. As soon as it's light enough to shoot, you get 2 or 3 nice hours in there, and then usually the wind will start picking up. Or now that we're getting into summer, it's going to start getting hot and. Yeah, you won't. Coming into summer now, you won't want to be out there past 10:30 in the morning because it'll be unbearable. It gets to the point you shoot a 5-round group and the barrel's hot, and
you got to run fans
but it just still doesn't want to cool back down because it's hot outside. And like that, you stay too long and you come home and you're sunburned. I mean, it's
So I got a hold of you. And you said, well, he had a kid that was going out with you for a while.
Yeah.
You guys go out at like 5 in the morning.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, okay. So I met him out there, and I was able to get my rifle onto one of what are those things we set the rifle? I can't think of the name.
Oh, the rest.
We put it on a rest to kind of figure out how to and then I shot the gun, and the kick of being on that, because you had the weighted sled.
Yeah.
The kick of the rifle destroyed the scope. The scope just went, the concussion hit the inside of that scope, and it just went haywire. It went blurry. Everything went to shit.
Yep.
And so Wendell's like, well, you really need a new rifle.
You need a new scope.
No, not a new rifle, new scope. So we come up. So I had to put the money. It took me he let me shoot
a couple of weeks. Yeah.
It took me about a month to get the cash together. But you let me fire 6.5 Creedmoor and all that other stuff. You brought out a 308 out to shoot it too.
Yeah.
And then
some of my rifles for him to shoot for a few weeks.
So he invites me over here, and he starts talking about all the stuff he can do. And then you asked me if I knew anything about YouTube.
Yeah.
Because it was what brought it up was that guy. That guy put that video out about that 25 arc.
6mm arc. Yeah. And actually, I'm thinking about. I've got a short action Savage. I'm thinking about building a 6mm arc. Thinking about doing a 1-7 twist, 26-inch barrel, do it in a kind of a medium contour, like a light Palma or a light varmint, and doing one.
What does that mean? You say Palma varmint. Is that the barrel?
The contour of the barrel, the diameter of it. So
yeah, barrel profile.
Yeah, the profile of the barrel.
So I met you because when I started talking to you, what brought up this whole thing was you were pissed off that some guy was talking about.
Bad mouthing a cartridge that he's never even gone out and shot. He went and pulled a bunch of statistics off the internet and drew a conclusion that was unfounded. And like that, you don't compare gas guns to bolt guns.
Well, they have even 2 different loading ways to load.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. It was like, you're. Yeah.
So you said what? He comes to me and he goes. Do you know anything about YouTube? Yeah. You wanted to make a video to go against, what was that guy?
We're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, well, he was so upset. Because we'd been going to the range and I taken video with my phone, and he said he was so upset that guy had talked smack about your beloved 25 arc.
6mm arc.
6 mil? Is it 6 mil arc?
6mm arc.
Okay, I'm not familiar. Yeah, the 6mm arc, and you were upset, and you came to me and you're like, so we need to put videos out with better information.
Yeah.
And you asked me if I knew anything about YouTube.
Oh, my whole thing is if I'm going to put a video out talking about a rifle or a cartridge and what it's capable of or what have you, we're going to show it to you. We're not going to just go grab a bunch of statistical data off of the internet, throw something together, and try to present it to you as being factual. I mean, we're going to actually go ahead and do it. So.
Yeah, so that led us down the path that for some reason we never did the 6mm arc.
No, we didn't. That's why I was thinking about
reintroducing it now that we kind of have a channel and a following, and then
and a chronograph. I actually shoot it, collect some real data, some real numbers, shooting it out of a bolt gun. I've got an AR-15 with a 24-inch stainless match barrel on it in 6mm arc, but there's two different power levels for the arc. You got 50,000 psi, which is what you got to run your AR-15 at. But on the flip side of that, you start loading it to 62,000 psi, putting it in a bolt gun. I'm going to tell you something. There's not a lot of difference between that and a 243. The big difference is you've got the faster twist, and you can handle the heavier bullets.
Hold on one second. Let me take a break real quick.
Okay.
Alrighty. So that was a short little break. The 25 arc.
6mm arc.
6mm arc. I keep mixing up the 25 Creedmoor with the 6 arc.
Yeah. I've been I'm really impressed with 25 Creedmoor. I've got this Savage short action. It's a Model 10. It's probably about 15 years old. It's chambered in 308, but it's had a lot of rounds down it. So tossing around what to chamber it in. I was thinking about 6mm arc. I mean, I'd have to change out the bolt head and put it in a stock that'll accept AICS, the actually International Standard Magazine. But I mean, these are not problems that we can't overcome. So. But I thought it might be pretty cool. And then take it out there with some the 110 grain Hornady A-tips at about 2850, 2900 feet per second, I think, and see what those are capable of out there at 1,000 yards. So, might be a fun project.
I think it'll be very fun. I've definitely enjoyed watching you put it all together.
Yeah. So I got three chamberings I'm looking at: the 6mm arc, another 25 Creedmoor, or a 7mm 08. So if anybody's got any input, let me know. We can go either way. But 7mm 08, you'd be surprised. 26-inch barrel. We can get the 162 ELDMs. We can boost those out of there about 28, somewhere between 28 and 2,900 feet per second with the right powder. And that would be a lot of fun to shoot.
The thing I thought was interesting is when you started building rounds, you're consistently faster with all the ammunition you've built me than what they say it should be doing.
That's a big part of it. And
is that because of my Remington is so much longer than?
Well, part of it is I like right now the move in the industry is people going with these 18, 20, 21, 22-inch barrels and sticking suppressors on them. So they're keeping the barrel short. Well, anytime you're removing barrel, you're removing velocity. You always got to keep that in mind.
Now, do you recover velocity with the suppressor, or?
No.
It actually.
You're not gaining any velocity.
Because it's stripping away the gas.
Exactly, it's a muffler.
Yeah, it's a muffler.
It really all it is. It's a muffler. It's just redirecting gases and suppressing the sound. But anytime you're giving up inches in barrel, you're giving up velocity. you really so. What I like to do is I like to sit down looking around, and this is something me and Dave did when we first got into long range shooting. My first 1,000-yard rifle was built on a 30-06. I started with a 26-inch heavy barrel 30-06 Remington 700 action. And I knew the bullet I wanted to shoot was a 208 grain ELDM because I needed that higher ballistic coefficient. I needed that heavier bullet to maintain velocity out to 1,000 yards. And then I started looking at what powders would get me where I needed to be on velocity. And the first 1,000-yard rifle that I put together was 208 grain ELDM out of Lapua brass with Reloader 17. I mean, and Reloader 17, I really miss it. It's not temperature stable, but it's temperature predictable. So you know that if you start shooting at 60 degrees, when you hit 80 degrees, yeah, you're picking up a little bit of velocity. But if you know what the velocity, if you know what the velocity swing is going to be, you can work with that. So, but we first started shooting 1,000 yards, man, 30-06, 208 grain ELDMs, and Reloader 17, and it was consistent, and it was good. And then same thing, 308. We were using a Reloader 17 and a 308. You shot that stuff. I had a box left over from, I think, 2016, 2017. You shot through my 308.
Yeah, and you had made it and never fired it, and you wanted to see how it would do.
Well, we never chronographed it because this was 7, 8, 9 years ago. I mean, we never chronographed it. We knew what the drops were. Those were 175 jacketed, match 175 grain hollow point bowtail. I was quite surprised. We started chronographing it. We were over 2,800 feet per second. But again, we were using Reloader 17. The bullets were seeded out to 2.88. So, I mean, we were moving the bullets really moving them up into the neck and getting them close to the rifling, getting a little more internal capacity in the cartridge. And that's a 26-inch barrel. So, I mean, we weren't leaving any velocity on the table by trying to shoot with a 20-inch barrel. And I was pretty impressed. We were knocking down right at 2,800 feet per second to 308 with a 175. So
yeah, it was. I remember when I pulled the trigger on that, and you were just like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah,
I was still like new to the whole thing. I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, whatever.
One of that brass that you did shoot was it was Lapua brass. It had already been loaded, I think, 5 or 6 times. No signs of overpressure on it, and that stuff shot really good in that 308. So.
Yeah, well, you're kind of like, the problem you have, what I've noticed is people are car poor. You're like gun poor.
Well, yeah, they're
not that you're poor. I don't mean to say you're poor, but these two things behind you are full.
Yeah,
which leads me to the next thing you wanted to start doing. He wants to do rifle builds.
Yeah,
and then sell.
Yeah, I've been kicking this around. Kind of looking for a niche. We're in the process of getting together, getting the CW Guns and Gear registered as a business, filing the paperwork to generate create an LLC, and then the next step, once we've got the LLC, is going to be applying for an FFL and getting a federal firearms license. And then what I'd really like to start doing is build a rifle, showcase it on the channel. We take it out, we shoot it, we do the load development. Once we've done that, then putting it on Gun Broker, auctioning it off, and
letting someone out in the audience be able to acquire what we've worked so hard to build.
Yeah.
And we can
start over and do another one. Yeah,
because you have the same problem with guns as I had with cars. You enjoy the build, the process, but once you're kind of done with it, it kind of goes onto the back burner and you move on to the next one.
Yeah.
And when you do that with, like I found on my Cody's Wrenches, Roads, and Wanders, you start doing that. and you start falling in love with your projects, you start running out of places to park your cars.
Yeah.
Well, you started running out of places to park your rifles.
Yeah.
Because you got one? He has several gun safes, and they're all.
Yeah, they're all pretty full. So,
but not in a bad way. I mean, I think that's
no. But that was just an ideal. I mean, if you want to throw something in the comments, see what.
Not that I probably shouldn't have talked about your gun safes full.
Well, it is what it is. But for me, it's all about putting it together, getting it to shoot. And yeah, I've got several rifles that I've put them together. I've taken them out. We've shot 1,000 yards with them. We've done the load development. We're shooting nice tight groups, and then brought them home, cleaned them, and put them away. And I've got several that haven't been back out to the range in 4, 5, 6 years now. And yeah.
But you really are. The thing I thought was impressive about getting to know you is you are really dialed in on the process of building a rifle.
That and the loading and the ammo development.
Yeah. So our thought is that if you want a rifle that has been completely sorted, we find the good stock for it, we find the good barrel for it, we find the good action. Yeah. We build the ammo. We figure the BDC to ogive for the best round. What's the best weight of bullet, and doing all the development of a rifle that you can then sell on Gunbroker, and then we can send all the data with them, and then you'll have a gun that's ready to rock and roll.
Yep. So
that's our plan. You guys like that idea? You should probably comment.
Let us know. Yeah.
So we got the 308 project. My project's kind of always ongoing. We got the 300 Savage. We talked about that.
Yep.
Talked about the PSL.
Yep.
Then we talked about what is it? We did the 300 308. And then now we're talking about gun builds and stuff, but. So, what do you want to see this podcast? Is it been fun, or?
Yeah, I'm really interested in exploring more podcasts, especially once we start getting a slice of Ryan's time to get him on here.
Oh, Ryan,
it's going to be.
Well, he came over last week, and I sat down with him for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And that young man, I can say that, right? I'm 7, 8 years older than him.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's only about 5 or 6 years younger than you are. So
he's 35?
Yes, he'll be 36 this year.
Yeah, and I'm 43.
Yeah.
So
I'm the old man here.
Yeah, but I might be older than him, but I'm definitely not as mature.
Oh, I don't know.
So anyway, so this is what we're going to try to do too. The premise is kind of like it's a roundtable after, and hopefully when the wind. The problem we have in New Mexico is March and first part of April is like the wind is just horrible.
Yeah, yesterday winds were 37 miles mile an hour with gusts up in the 50s.
Yeah,
the sky was brown the entire day. I mean,
What frustrates me is I like detailing my car.
Yeah.
So I go out and like the morning and it's nice, beautiful 75-degree day. I clean the whole entire car. I look out at the sky. It's beautiful, clear. The wind's dead. And then I go out to take my daughter and we go and do something, and there's just like a dust all over everything.
Yep. Well, you remember back in February, we got ran off the range one day. We were out there shooting, and the wind picked up. You couldn't see anything past 200 yards. We had a 600-yard plate set up, and when that wind really kicked up, you couldn't see anything past 200. I mean, it was kind of that was kind of a showstopper. So
the other thing that's interesting about here is there's so many ranges here in New Mexico. I guess we got enough land that you can get the 1,000-yard ranges.
Yeah, but you know what? There's a really nice range over by El Magordo, but it only goes out to 300. which is kind of a. I mean, if all you're doing is a hunt rifle, that's fine. But that's it. I mean, we're kind of in a unique spot here with a dedicated 1,000-yard range with target boards every 100 yards. I mean, it is pretty cool.
Well, and then I go into some of these YouTube channels and you watch them talk about, we're going to 600 yards today. And I'm like, dude, every time I go to the range, I'm going out to 600 yards.
Yep.
And I remember when I was first started working with you, you're like, oh, we'll get you shooting out to 1,000.
Yep.
And within a month, I was already hitting the steel out there.
Yep.
Then we did the New Year's Day video.
Yep.
We got that, get that put up on the main channel now.
Yeah.
Have to get that moved over. So.
Yeah. Then there's lots of, you got to realize too in New Mexico, you got lots of BLM land here. There's an area I like out here on the West Mesa. There's a power line road that's pretty straight and it's not all rutted out. It's easy to set up a 1 mile shoot out there, take full size silhouette boards out there, and that's a lot of fun. And the way it sits, we're shooting directly west, so if there is a wind, it's pretty much a headwind right in your face. And that helps take some of the difficulty out of it. But we've done that. We've set up out there and shot the 50 at a mile. I'd really like to try it with a 338 Lapua. So. Yeah. One of these days, we're going to have to break out the 338 Lapua and shoot it.
Man, I don't know. You saw in that video, we did. Man, you pulled the trigger on that 50 BMG. Oh my God! It's just like you feel it in your sinuses and in your eyes and your ears and.
Yeah, it's not the recoil on the 50 that's ugly. It's
the slap of the concussion of it firing. I'm telling you now, I could probably go and get a claim for like micro concussions from the blast.
Yeah, it's the concussion on that. Normally, I'm good for 10 to 12 rounds in a day, and that's pretty much it. I'm done. I can't do the concussion. And I stop before I develop the flinch because don't need to introduce that. So usually it's a 10, 12, 13, 14 rounds maybe in a day, and that's it. So
I remember when I was a kid, my cousins up in Wyoming, they have a small ranch. It's only like 36,000 acres, just a little piece up there.
Yeah.
And they brought out this is back in the early 2000s. I think they had like a 50 cal or something, but it was like a Beretta 50 cal rifle.
I don't know if Beretta ever made one.
I don't know. They had this big old gun, and I don't remember who. It wasn't Barrett. But they had a big ass gun, and their target that they set out at, and we thought there was the world. We're setting it at 800 yards. We're setting a manhole cover out at 800 yards, and we're blowing right through it. So it's like, dude. Yeah, so that was my first, and I never, because then the idea of firing a round that's it was like $2 a shot.
Yeah.
Back in the early 2000s, and it was like, $2 a shot was the end of the world. And
well, it was back in the days when a 20-round box of ammo for 30-06 or something was still probably between $8 and $10 or something. I mean, yeah.
Well, I remember when I was a kid. Back in the late 90s, because in California at the time, if you were 16, you could go buy rifle ammo. So they would come up and they'd say, so you'd go buy 22 long rifle, and you go, what are you shooting it in? I go, I'm shooting it in my rifle. Okay, you can shoot it because you're over 16. We can sell it to you. If you told them you were selling it, going to put in a pistol, they wouldn't sell it to you.
Yeah.
But anyways, and we used to come up, you could buy one of those Remington boxes of like $5.50.
Yeah.
For like maybe $8-9. Because over in San Luis Obispo County where I grew up, they had like Hog Canyon and stuff, and they had these big old ranches out there, and they would put up in the post office, they would put up a bounty. and you could call the ranch, and the rancher would put up, like, go to, like, Fish and Game or whatever, and get, like, a bounty thing. So you could go out, and they would like give you like a buck a squirrel, because they had like ground squirrels there, build these big burrows that the cows would walk across and they fall into and hurt themselves and stuff.
Yeah, break a leg.
So I remember me and my brother would sit there, and we'd go out to a ranch and just shoot squirrels all day long. And we had enough money to pay for the ammo, but when we got pay for the $5 for the ammo, buy the gas, and buy lunch when we were done. And I think we would make like $20.
That'd be a good day.
That was a good day. I mean, you got, and then you would get like the squirrel, like they would cut the tails off of them, and then they would give them to like the Fish and Game or something. I don't know. We just had to, on our way out, we had to just we had to leave the squirrels with the rancher, and he would like count them and tell the Fish and Game or something how.
Yeah.
I never got into that part of it, but they'd have a bounty on squirrels, and we'd go out and just pop squirrels all day long.
Yeah.
My dad had this little Marlin 22, and man, that thing was rock and roll.
Well, I remember when I was in junior high school, had the Marlin Model 60. 22. We'd go out in the desert after school. I mean, 22 ammo back then was 99 cents a box. Federal Lightnings, and we'd go out there and chase after rabbits, shooting rabbits. We did that a lot. I remember when I was in high school, we had a gun rack in the back window of the pickup. It wasn't unusual to have shotgun and 22 rifle in the back window of the pickup sitting in the school parking lot. Yeah.
Well, I think there was that first school shooting, right? Rich, I remember it was linked to right whenever Red Dawn came out.
Yeah, was that it?
Because Red Dawn originally, my friend Bob Provance was he worked on the movie Red Dawn up in Las Vegas.
Really?
So he has somewhere. Well, he passed away, so I don't know what his daughter's done with his stuff. But he went and got the original Red Dawn script, and he had the book. They, like every day they take like dailies. They'll take like a shot out of the film, and there was a whole scene that was supposed to be in Red Dawn, in McDonald's. McDonald's sponsored Red Dawn. Because of, and if you notice in Red Dawn, he goes in wearing an ET hat into the town. Remember when they all go into the town and stuff?
Yeah.
And he comes out without a hat on. So the premise was in Red Dawn, they go into a McDonald's and they meet up with some Russian soldiers and stuff. And then the Russian soldiers steal his hat. Well, John Milius, who was the director of Red Dawn, was good friends with Steven Spielberg. They went to film school together. So reason he's wearing an ET hat in Red Dawn is like poking fun at Steven Spielberg. And if you ever watch Red Dawn, I'll leave it at this. If you ever watch Red Dawn, and you look, what? Right out when they have the library scene when they're walking around the top of the library.
Right.
The guy that's holding the rifle, walking around the top of the library, is John Milius, the director. He's actually appears in it.
Oh, there you go.
So, and then what would have you ever been to Las Vegas, New Mexico?
Oh yeah.
That's where they shot Red Dawn.
Yeah.
And you can go up there and still see the mural that they painted on the wall, and you could go see the high school, and then that final scene with where the guys are at the train station. That's right there.
Really?
So anyway, I went on my Red Dawn rant. I apologize, but
that's all right.
So I guess that's kind of what we're going to be doing in the podcast. But
yep.
There's my Red Dawn trivia. Now I'm going to. Oh, so anyways. There was a shooting at a school, and they pulled the funding. They didn't want to be linked to the school shooting McDonald's with this movie all about guns. So they pulled that scene of the McDonald's out, and McDonald's drops their corporate sponsorship of the movie Red Dawn. And so I remember that's when they were like really boohoo off their AKs because the kid took an AK. This is my understanding. I was really young. Took an AK and shot up a bunch of his classmates and stuff. And that's when they really started coming down on.
Wow.
That's when they came down on the banning guns at school and the school free zone, the gun free zones and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But not to get political with that, but I just remember that when did you graduate high school?
87.
Yeah.
So,
and what is, I forget when that movie came, what is it, 80?
I was in junior high, I believe, when Red Dawn came out. I think it was junior high or I was a sophomore in high school. So,
yeah, it was
somewhere around then. I will tell you this, it made a profound impact on me.
Red Dawn?
It really did. Yeah.
Well, why is that?
It did. It seemed like it was a viable threat.
What was interesting is...
You're talking about, I'm a teenager. I was, I don't know, 15, 16 years old. And could this actually happen? And so here I am. I'm 40 years later, and I've got 3 gun safes full of firearms. You don't think it had a profound impact? Yeah, it did. So, yeah. That's part of why I went in the military.
What was interesting is the premise in the Red Dawn, the original Red Dawn, is they used the southern border to infiltrate Cuban nationals. They came in because they look like Mexican nationals.
Right.
And they infiltrated in, and they got tons and tons of people coming through the border.
Yep.
And then they did secret ops, and then Russia did their parachute drop and all that stuff.
Yep.
Which all the parachuters that did that they actually recruited all those guys in that movie out of Soldier of Fortune magazine.
There you go.
And then that's where Bob got his link. He was linked somehow. Bob, you ever have that guy that you go to lunch with, and all of a sudden there's like some guy that's like a CIA guy, or like just a weird person comes into the scene? And so Bob owned this gun store in Albuquerque called Quartermaster Sales.
Okay.
Well, so he was, and he had this connection with like, I've learned so much about world history through Bob, because he had this like plaque, and because he worked on he came out with some of the first web gear, working with some of the sellers. So he came out with web gear and all this other stuff, and I went into his house, and he had a plaque that was given to him by Rhodesia for helping supply the Scylla scouts in the Rhodesian stuff. And then so like one time we went to like lunch with Bob, and all of a sudden there's this guy that has this Russian, like a African, like a South African accent almost, but he was from Rhodesia before it became Zimbabwe. So Bob was like all tied in with, so it's just like you just go to lunch with Bob and you never knew who showed up. And then I was at Bob's house one day, and I have a picture. If I have it on my camera, I'll put it up. With me, remember the leader? They had that top that was camouflage in there, and he's marching through the streets of the town they just conquered, which was Las Vegas, and he's doing the march. That Cuban leader guy, I forget his name, but he had this, they cut a special suit, because the Russians just get like a snowsuit that they put on. Well, they had it tailored for him to just be a top, if you ever watched the movie again. And I have a picture of me wearing that top from that supposed Cuban leader.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I went off on a tangent. I apologize.
Oh, that's all right.
I guess you could say I'm an enthusiast of Red Dawn. Not that that's what we went into this.
I had no intention of going down to Red Dawn, but yeah, it was. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I've watched it multiple times.
It's a good documentary.
Yeah, there you go. It's a documentary. Yes. Name's David. He's over in the UK. He does pedal steel guitar. And he talks about, he says, I get more people asking about the damn dog than I do about the steel guitar stuff. He's got this little terrier that's always in the video with him.
So I didn't mean to go off on a tangent about Red Dawn.
That's all right.
So you're thinking that when I was taking the break to reset the camera, you were saying that Duke might be the mascot that gets attention.
Yeah. He might help us with views on the channel. So...
Anyways, so that's our podcast.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to have, these are the kind of conversations that we have on the range. Like, I'll randomly go into, like, what Cody facts, or what do you call them? Like, Cody rants about, and then...
Well, that just, you never know. I mean, a lot of times we'll be out on the range and I'll be shooting and I'll stop and I'll have an epiphany moment. It's like, you know what? This is what we need to do. And
well, that's where I came up with the idea of putting our logo on panties was on the range.
Yes, you did. Yep. And they're in the t-shirt shop. They are available.
Now, would that be now that we have panties in there on the channel
and leggings,
would that mean that it's an apparel store versus a t-shirt shop? Or
I guess. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in there that I found to add to that. So I mean,
you can check it out. We got the CW Guns and Gear stuff, and he got the shirt.
Yes, I'm wearing the Range Day Always a Good Decision on the front with the CW Guns and Gear on the back. So that we've kept the prices down too.
We really kind of want to get our name out versus making money.
Yeah, we're not trying to get rich off the t-shirt shop. We just like anytime you buy a shirt. For us, that's advertising. So we've knocked it down to the bare minimum that we can. So I mean, you can get a shirt with a logo on the front or a logo on the back.
Yeah, like
single logo.
This.
And you're looking at like $13, $14.
Yeah,
logo on the front, logo on the back, you're looking at about $17, $18.
And the t-shirts will be for sale, and you can look in the description. There will be a description for the t-shirts. Yeah,
the t-shirt shop, it's all hosted off of Printify. We've got a lot of stuff in there. I think we've probably got about 30 different things in there now. So
yeah, we got about 30 things in there. I don't know. I was thinking like 17, 18 SKUs, but I mean, we got mugs and mouse pads and banners and.
Oh yeah. We just added some more up there a couple days ago. The one I've been wanting to put up since we started this was we added it. We finally got the graphic put together. 6.5 Creedmoor's been just so controversial. You either love it or you hate it. So we put together a pun. It's on there. It's
you used you actually took a picture.
Yeah, there's a picture of a Creedmoor round underneath it, and it says, "Of course, I'm a sniper. I shoot a 6.5 Creedmoor." So I thought that was pretty funny.
Well, then you have the one that's he has this saying whenever we're on the range.
Yeah.
You'll have like a perfect set of 4, and then there'll be one off over here, and he says, and this one went off to Grandma's house.
There's always that one that goes to Grandma's house. So we put a T-shirt together with it. So we're gonna be doing more of those too. So we're gonna
help us sell some shirts. Shooting the ammo ain't cheap.
No, we're
hopefully Trump, if he does anything to help us, help us get the ammo prices lower.
Hey, if Trump can get the powder supply overseas flowing back in and get the prices down, that would be really phenomenal.
But he just put tariffs on everything, so.
Well, we'll see where that goes. So,
yeah.
I'm not,
I'm not real worried about it.
Well, everybody wants to pay a tariff for American goods to be sold in their country. That needs to go. If you're going to charge us to sell our product in your country, then you need to you're going to have to pay to sell it in our country. So
Well, when they have like
we need to level the playing field and quit being taken advantage of.
the one thing that blew me away about the tariffs was like to sell butter. American butter to be sold in Canada, there's like a 300%, and these are just what I remember, so it might be wrong. There's like a 300% markup import tariff on butter. Mm-hmm. And then the thing that I find interesting is from what I've been able to read, and it's just my opinion and my understanding, but like 40% of the products that is sold from Canada is consumed by the United States.
Yeah.
So they are way more dependent on us than we are on them, and now there's a lot big countries, small population.
Yep.
That's going to get caught in the audio.
Okay.
But anyways, they don't. It's not vice versa. There's not a fair. I think Trump is really tired of the thing. It's like
there's no reciprocity. And it's like we're subsidizing their dairy, the dairy product we're sending to Canada, and there's no reciprocity coming back to us for that. I mean, it's just not fair. It's time to level the playing field. I mean,
exactly.
So,
but we wanted to keep this right around an hour. I think we're right around that.
Yeah. Probably pretty cool. Yep. So
thanks. Well, we're going to do some more podcasts. I don't know if this is successful. I just thought I read up on it. I thought it'd be fun to do the editing. If you have any gripes about the editing, it's definitely me. I do all the video editing.
Hey, it's a trial run. We'll see how it goes, and
let us know what you think.
Yeah.
We're just trying to, we're excited about what we're doing. I don't think a lot of our ideas get through on the videos.
Yeah.
So that's the reason we're trying to do a podcast, and I can't wait. I think is Ryan going to be here next week?
I think so. So.
Okay.
That'll be good. And I'm excited about getting some training videos going with Ryan too. So.
Oh, dude, that guy, he has a wealth of knowledge with firearms.
Yes, he does.
And the thing that was really interesting is he has a lot of integrity.
Yeah. Yes.
But we could keep doing this mumbling on. So that was what we're going to call this what was it? I should know this. Oh, the after action roundtable.
Yes.
Yeah. So the premise is we get off the range, we come and clean some guns. We have these really interesting conversations or bull sessions.
Yep.
You thought it'd be fun to record it. So let us know what you think of this. And if you would do us a favor, if you like it, go and get subscribed to our
like
podcast.
And subscribe. And this will be going up not only on YouTube but also going up on Rumble.
Yeah, help us out on Rumble.
So yeah, if you haven't gone to Rumble yet, please go check it out. It's CW Guns and Gear over there too. We've got content going up there. In fact, there's going to be some content that can't go on YouTube that will be going up on Rumble.
Yeah.
So there's
because you can't actually show gun builds.
There's community standards that we got to adhere to on YouTube that we won't be quite that regulated on Rumble. So there's going to be some stuff that
so you might get a partial video and the rest of it will be on Rumble. So but let us know what you think, and thanks for watching.
Thank you.